Hey everybody, I'm here with Angel Pomalis, and entrepreneur, speaker, sales guru. Angel, I appreciate you giving me some time, my man. I'm going to shake the left hand. I'm getting to sit down with you. We've been talking about sitting down for a while.
That's right.
And I have a lot of questions I want to ask you. I was looking over a lot of your stuff today, getting ready for the interview. And man, I see that you are doing a ton of stuff. Not only are you a family man, but you're out there teaching sales. You've been very successful with some of the largest companies in the world, just killing it out there. So you've had a lot of success over your career. But before we talk about any of that, take me back and tell me a little bit about, where you're from, how you got started.
Well, first of all, thank you, Dan. Thank you for having me here in your show. Very early in my sales career, let's say that, my grandparents, they both had different businesses. My grandmother had a family business, and where everybody go get their meal, their bread in the morning, their newspaper, so they can read the news, especially politics. Like it's a big thing where I'm from in Puerto Rico. Okay. That's where I was born.
Oh, nice.
I was born in Cabos, Puerto Rico. Both stores were in Juncos, Puerto Rico, which is like another city about 10 minutes from my house.
So this is like milk, egg, stuff like that?
Yeah, milk, eggs.
Daily.
Exactly. Daily essentials, let's put it that way. And also my grandfather, he had a meat market, and it was called Yeyos. And everybody that needed meat or chicken or poultry, they'll go straight to my grandfather's store. And it was a very good store, very personalized. And I used to go there all the time when I was a kid.
So you grew up in a small area, right? And
Yes.
And then how did you get started on your entrepreneurial journey? Was there a definitive point that you kind of made the decision, I want to be a business owner, I want to be an entrepreneur?
Well, when I was a kid, 5 years old, 6 years old, I remember this guy, one time we tell him, hey, we want to sell something. And he brought this little fruit. It's like a brown fruit from Puerto Rico. You can eat it or not. It's up to you. But we start selling that specific fruit very cheap, and a lot of people used to buy it. And we used to put the fruit in front of a table in my house,
Nice.
in front of the house. So there was like a main street, and everybody, hey, how much you got the fruits for? It's how much, 5 cents or 10 for 5 cents. They were like, that's cheaper than the store in the corner. And we used to make little money like that.
Nice. When I was a kid, there was this huge avocado tree across the street, avocado tree, and the neighbors hated avocados, and this thing would produce hundreds and hundreds of avocados. So we'd pick them all up, and we'd go door to door, and we'd sell them. And I'd sell out, like in an hour, I was out of inventory.
Oh,
done.
wow.
And I went to my dad, I said, I'm like the greatest salesman ever. I'm like king salesman. He says, well, what are you charging? I said, we're charging $8 for $1. And he's like, I don't know
Wow.
if it's such a good sales or if they're just so cheap. But anyway, so that's great that you started really young.
Oh, yes.
And how long have you been in the U.S.? When did you start business here?
I joined the Navy back in 89, and that's when I first came to the United States, other than vacation, because we still come down here for vacation.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to Texas in December, and we went to Orlando, Florida for Disney. But I joined the Navy in 89, and I did it for 22 years. But meanwhile, I was still doing businesses, as a part-time in the side.
Yeah, wow. So you're traveling all the world, but on the ship. You're working on projects.
Yes. And I was still working on projects, going to school, studying business, with different universities around the country, and it was all about business.
Wow. So you had this very young entrepreneur vibe. You had that.
Yes.
You caught the bug early, and then you're in the Navy, and I believe you actually were retired Navy chief, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, so while you were in the Navy, talk to me about, is there some attributes that you picked up during your military service that maybe later became useful in your business?
Oh, yes. First of all, discipline. You have to be very disciplined in the military, but also you have to be disciplined when you do your business.
That's right.
It's a very, very important to be disciplined in order to be successful in your business.
Yeah. And, so many people they'll be good at one facet of business. For instance, let's say sales. I've met a lot of people that they're sales gurus. They just really got that figured out and mastered. So now it's like, hey, I need to be an entrepreneur and open my own business. Well, there's at least 6 or 8 other facets that you have to really know. Just because we're great in sales doesn't mean we can money management or budget, or we can.
That's correct.
We're organized enough to control inventory. There's a lot of other things strengths that we're going to need.
Oh, absolutely.
And it seems like the military would be very conducive to pick up a lot of those.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
And so you were in the Navy for how long?
22 years.
Wow. Give me a good Navy story.
A good Navy
quickly.
story?
You got to have one.
Oh, I have a lot of stories, but
imagine.
Yeah, well, let's say one of the best stories that I have, it's that we help needy children. We partner with the churches. We went to Rio and we helped the community by repainting a big. It was the schoolyard. It was a court, but the court was split in soccer,
sure,
and also basketball. So we brought in new baskets and new for them. And we also have to repaint all the lines, but the lines have to be for not only soccer, but also for basketball. So it was a little bit challenging, but it was rewarding to see the kids smiling. I mean, it has no price. Helping other people.
Helping children, man.
Oh, yeah. It's
that's kind of my pet peeve. I have a 9-year-old, and I'll see adults do stupid stuff and have to pay some price, and I say, well, I kind of get what they did. But when it comes to kids, that's my one thing of, children that don't have a fair shake in life. Maybe they've been born in, more difficult times than obviously we've had.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's just anything that we do for them is well worth it. So it's a good story.
Great experience, by the way. Great experience.
So I know that now let's talk a little bit about now. I know recently, you're interviewing and working with top athletes. I know you've been involved even helping top athletes, NBA players launch their companies. Currently, you're also working with a company. I just want to make sure to get this right, that exceeds over $18 billion annually. I think they employ about 60,000 people. This year, they're actually projected to hit over 800 million. It's phenomenal, man.
Oh, yes.
What do you feel like the key over all the years, and the self-education you've done, what's the key to your success, do you feel like?
Well, the key to my success is not only the discipline, but also meeting the right people, at the right time also. I've been very blessed to be able to meet NBA players, NFL players, hockey players. And I've been very blessed to, have a chance to, talk to them and see how they do business, and at the same time, they're teaching me how to conduct my business. And it's been very good so far.
I talked to somebody that you've done some business with before sitting down today, and I said, tell me about Angel. And he said, Angel's the best at what he does, but he's really more than that. He's the best at what he does. He's very consistent.
Yes.
And I think that's a lot of it. There's a lot of people with very high-level strategies, or they have great alliances, and they can open doors, and all that obviously is very useful in business. That's going to help.
Yes.
But sometimes it's just showing up every day and taking the right actions. And it's not so much the talent or the strategy, it's the consistency every day. And after several months, you really see the results. And, I've hired a lot of people that were immensely talented, just insane. But they're like this, they'll have amazing weeks or months and then zero productivity. And I'd rather have a guy that performs here, but all the time.
All across, yes.
And you seem like a very consistent guy. And I know you're also very big in self-education. In fact, they say that the best investment we can make is investing in ourselves.
That's right.
I know recently I interviewed Brian Tracy, and he said for every dime you invest in yourself, you get $1 back. So if you invest $10, you get a $100 bill back. It's always that 10 times metric. What are some of the ways that you've invested in yourself over the years?
In myself, well, because I was in the Navy and it was hard to go to school.
Yeah.
I had to make the right decisions on the right schooling. So by partnering with the right schools, I was able to have a associate's degree, which was very hard while in the military. And then when I left, I was able to obtain a bachelor's degree. And the teachers, the professors, they were top notch. And I gained so much and I learned so much from them. And I also learned from the other businesses that I was doing prior to leaving the military, like car sales and other type of sales out in the industry. So it helped me out greatly to be who I am today.
This is a topic that comes up quite a bit, especially recently in the media. But in terms of education, I know you have a couple of degrees. I don't have a bunch of degrees. I kind of self-educated, but it seems like if you're going to be a doctor, an attorney, chemical engineer, something like that, traditional education is definitely the way to go. And even in taking business classes, we can definitely learn some fundamentals.
Yes.
But would you say that that's really where you picked up a lot of your skills, or has it been really in the last couple of decades of self-educating, attending seminars, workshops, things like that?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. Mm-hmm. But I like to read a lot of leadership books. I like to read a lot of business books, and you always see me in one of the bookstores with the family, just picking up business books, marketing books, business books. There's so many out there that I can name.
Sure.
One of the first book that I had. It was Anthony Robbins. It's a motivational book.
Yeah.
But I tell you what.
Which one was it? Do you remember?
It's Awaken the Giant.
I love the book.
Yeah. That book. I still got the original copy.
I knew you were going to say Awaken the Giant.
Yeah, I have the original copy, and I bought many other copies that I actually gave away to other people so they can be highly successful also. I tell you what, that's an amazing book.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked before this. You're currently reading a book right now.
Yes.
Is it Cohen?
It's Mr. Cohen, yeah.
Yep.
And it's about negotiating.
Negotiating, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you, obviously you've had an immense career and you've had a lot of success. We know as entrepreneurs it's not always that way. Sometimes, most of us, in fact, have probably failed as much as we've succeeded, right? I've taken some huge losses and quite frankly, made the wrong choice and had to pay a price. And we know that's necessary as entrepreneurs to learn and grow. Talk to me about, is there a particular failure coming up and kind of developing into the person you are now? Is there a particular failure that you can kind of call to mind that was one of those just, what was I thinking moments?
Well, I had a few like you had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have taken chances and risks before in my life. And there was a company that, I'm not going to say the name of it, but it was short-lived. They had a lot of promises, and we were out there every day talking to people, and it was just not happening. We were not connecting, I guess, with the right people, and we just everything just fall on the side. And,
sure.
And I was doing this with a partner of mine. We partnered up, and we were like, I don't think we can do this anymore. We just burned up pretty much. We burned up. But instead of doing different methods on how to talk to people, we just didn't know. We didn't have experience.
Sure.
And we just stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And from that particular failure, is there anything that you kind of gleaned from that harsh experience or reality that you've now brought to the table on the success that you're having now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because see, now with, reading books and more experience, now we know that it's not only one way that you can talk to people. There's many other ways. You got social media out there. You got radio, TV. There's so many ways you can actually connect with people, bring the right message, and, finally, have a meeting and talk to them and let them know what do you have, what your business is.
And it allows us, the world is so transparent, it allows us to be so specific now with our marketing.
Yes.
I mean, down to the day I want to talk to people that are, 23 and a half years old that live on here that dress all in black.
Oh, yeah.
There's a way to market to those people. It's so specified, which makes it very easy. Now, I know that they say that everybody starts out as a fan of somebody else's work. You mentioned Tony Robbins and Awakening the Giant, but is there anybody else you can kind of think of that where you early on you kind of started as their fan?
Oh yeah, very, very, very early. Bill Gates was always. I was always a fan of Bill Gates. I read a few of his books. I had a CD which I play over and over again because he had a vision, not only with Microsoft, but his vision was always about the future, and it always interests me. Like, how did this guy knows the future? I mean, in business, on computers. How, back 20 years ago, he said, your TV set will be everything on your entertainment. Well, guess what? TV's got cameras, we got Xbox, we got the PlayStations. We have social media on your TV. You got apps on your TV. I mean, and this guy was thinking about
Yeah.
all those things in the future. I thought he was crazy at first, but as you read more and more, you'll be like, wow, he was right.
I had the
Yeah.
similar experience reading Warren Buffett's book, and they're
Warren Buffett,
good
yeah.
buddies, and actually they're always like number one, number two. But
Oh, yeah.
actually, Warren kind of mentored Bill quite a bit, and they work a lot on projects. And I remember reading his book. Him and Bill, they're like freaks. Warren was
Yeah,
reading
yeah.
Forbes magazine when he was 14, taking to high school, and
Yeah.
those guys they put in the work. Though it's not some magic pill.
Mhm.
They're studying 4 or 5 hours a day. They have their
That's
finger
right.
on the pulse. They know
Mhm.
what people want. They
That's right.
beta test everything.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly do the work, and we can see the big payoff that they're getting. Now, if you could collaborate, I was thinking about this earlier. Somebody asked me this about a month ago, and it really stuck with me. That if you had a chance to collaborate with any other entrepreneur or person, whether they're around now or even maybe that has already passed away, who would you want to collaborate with?
I collaborate with two people, Elon Musk and Mr. Branson, Richard Branson.
Richard Branson.
Yeah, and the reason being that Elon Musk, he's a very smart guy. I tell you, if you read everything that he's done
Oh, it's phenomenal.
and his vision, it's like Bill Gates back 20 years ago. Very phenomenal mind. He's always thinking about the future. Okay, electricity. How can we make better cars? How can we make better rockets for space? We have to be in Mars by this day. I mean, he set time limits, and he'll make them all the time. He fails during those times, but he always gets to the point where he actually makes it. Sir Richard Branson.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wild guy.
That's a crazy story. He started with music, now he got airlines, and he got a spaceship.
Over 200 companies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Branson. High school dropout.
Yes.
In fact, it's funny. About a month ago, I had a mutual friend call me and said, "Listen, I'm going to be in Las Vegas this weekend for 3 days, hanging with Tony Robbins and Richard Branson. You have to come see me and come hang with us." And of course, I'm like, it was like a day or two notice of when we're going to have to leave. And so I'm calling them saying, "Tell me what plane tickets to buy," and blah, blah, blah. But I had another engagement that I absolutely could not get out of. And it'll be probably one of those regrets that I'll think about for the next 10 years, not being able to hang out with him. But really an amazing guy. And some of the stories that I've heard about Richard, of just some of the antics that he pulls. Just talk about an out-of-the-box
He's amazing
guy. Very amazing guy. Now, let me ask you a question. So I gather that you're Latino.
Yes.
Me too.
Well, yes.
And so, how do you feel like being a minority business owner?
Mhm.
Do you feel like you have the same opportunities as everyone else, or is it a little harder, or maybe there's advantages?
No, it's about the same. I mean,
You really don't know any different.
Yeah,
but,
I have no issues, but I mean, so far, the people that I connected with and everybody, I mean, it's been an amazing journey. I don't see any problem or any.
Well, the reason I ask, and I don't want to get in trouble by saying this, but I've been asked over the years to represent, like, the National Hispanic Society of blah, 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 or these organizations. And I always have to tell them, I speak terrible. I speak virtually, like, muy poquito in Spanish. So I can't really do it unless I can have, like, a translator. I could see something like that really working out for you. But I don't feel like in the Latin community particularly that there's really anybody out there that's really speaking, and not just for the Latin culture, but really minorities.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually, over the years, I don't know if you've had this experience, but I have mentored lots of minorities over the years. And I'll tell you a problem that I see, and I'm just being very honest, I'm, minority, is a lot of minorities, I think a problem, and I had to overcome this, is that they think labor. They think work hard, honest day's wage, blah, blah, blah. And certainly we want to work hard and have integrity in our business, but they're not working as smart as they could be. And I've had to address that many times, that you got to get out of this survive mentality and start thinking thrive mentality.
I understand.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Maybe it's kind of the way we came up.
Oh yeah, it's the way we are like we are being brought up when we were kids. You know, your dad and mom. I know my dad and mom said, "Hey, you guys got to work hard." You know, and they talking about
Sure.
manual labor. Now I'm talking about work smarter, not harder. Like we know how to do. But yeah, I concur with you.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying. Well, and you know, I think that I've experienced like this much prejudice over the years. You probably have too. Nothing like the '60s or '50s.
Yeah.
But I think that these things culturally take a long time to kind of work out because our grandparents, let's say, in any minority, our grandparents, they couldn't get great jobs, right? So they had the cleaning jobs and
Yes.
the maids and whatever.
Mhm.
And so our parents lived in a home that was for sure survive, right?
Yes.
And then
Absolutely.
we're one more generation removed where our parents now, I remember it wasn't so much let's pay our bills, it was which one are we going to pay first and which one are we going to push off.
Mhm.
So we observed survival at its best. We
Oh, yes.
observed, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then we're just one more generation.
Yeah.
So I think that these things, it takes a few generations to kind of move to that thrive
To
mentality.
change the mentality.
Because
yes.
I think that many minorities were born survivalists,
Mhm.
right? It's we watch how to get aid here, and we watch how to push off the bill collectors, and we
Yes.
watch how to do this, and it's just
Yeah.
in our culture
That's right.
right now, and it takes a long time to. And I think it's up to
switch.
people like us, and I think you're doing a great job at this. Is really breaking the mold
Yes.
for your last name. I mean, think about it. The Pomales last name, maybe no one in our families has ever graduated college or, retired a Navy chief, or maybe have never been really financially successful. And then it's up to somebody like yourself to break that mold and really change the course of your last name. I mean, think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Your family tree and the history of your last name has to change. And you've done that very successfully. And
Oh, yes.
I always think about my 9-year-old, and I know you have children as well. It's up to us, because if we don't bear that responsibility, then God forbid my kid, when, 10 years from now, when he's 18, 19 years old, having to go out there and say, man, I guess I got to go try to cut it because dad never could. In tougher economic times, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows what mess Trump will get us into by then. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, time change all the time.
But you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So how does that? You ever think about that?
I have to think about it, and it just makes me like more proud of myself and my family that that I'm doing something that is not only good for me but for everybody in my family and all the families alike. And it's my family support me 101% of the time.
That's great.
Which is is amazing.
It's a huge key.
Oh yeah, you gotta have family support.
Yeah, I don't know where I would be without the woman back in me, for sure.
Oh yes.
Now today, let's talk about now. So you've really now devoted your life to helping other people become financially viable. Not only have more success financially, but even time freedom, where they can have this time freedom and more financial freedom. And I know you hire a lot of these type of people. You're always looking for very sharp people that you can kind of mentor now and give back.
Yes.
What type of people are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for people that are like they are trainable, they are coachable, and they really want to change their lives. People that really want to work smarter, not harder, and want to change their life. Maybe their current situation, they don't like it. Maybe they have a dream. Maybe they want to have a better house in the future, a better car. I mean, you never know. Everybody has different dreams and why they want to keep doing things better.
Yeah. So not necessarily they don't need 2 degrees.
No, they don't.
They don't need
not at all.
a ton of money in the bank or even great credit.
Not at all.
You're saying, really what you're saying is to be teachable, to be open-minded, somebody that's willing to learn and learn the ropes the way that you show them.
Yes.
Some perimeters. And you really take care of all the rest when it comes to the opportunity and the education?
Yes, we'll give them free training.
Okay. Wow, free training. And so talk to me about the magnitude of the opportunity. Is this something that somebody could come in within 1 year, really work your business or the model that you lay out and make $50,000 a year or 6 figures? realistically, conservatively,
Mhm.
if somebody really sharp grabbed a hold of your opportunity, what do you think
Yes.
annually? Could it be a professional
Well,
income?
oh yeah, absolutely. The beauty of the business is that you can build as big as you want it. You know, you can big it as big as 7 figures plus maybe, down to 6 figures,
Yeah.
4 figures. It's up to you and the time and effort that you put on it. But
Yeah.
yes,
You can be very professional.
you can be very professional. You can be highly successful.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Well, look, so if somebody that's watching the interview now, our viewers at home that are saying, man, I want an opportunity like that. I'm definitely willing to learn. What I have right now is not what I thought it was, or maybe I'm in between jobs. I really want to sink my teeth into a real opportunity, but I just need somebody to show me and guide me and help me kind of along. How can we get more information? Where can we go?
The best information, the best place to reach me, it'll be my email. It'll be apom316@gmail.com or apom316@gmail.com.
APOM
316 at gmail.com.
Okay.
Mhm.
And man, we certainly can't ask for more than that. And is that a place where we can also find out more about what you're doing?
Oh, yes. Also, they can visit my website. It's www.angelpomales.com. And in the opportunity section, it says get info or more info. Or connect. You click on it and just put your information. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll get back with you.
So angelpomales.com. Go to the opportunity section. Connect with Angel. I'm sure also Facebook, LinkedIn.
Yes.
Angel Pomales.
Twitter.
Check him out. Twitter. And we'll definitely like to keep up more also with what you're doing. And I'm interested in what you have to say, because one thing that you said earlier really caught my ear. I've talked to a lot of people that are in these like multi-level marketing companies, and I have friends that have actually become very successful in those companies, but it's just never been my cup of tea. And I'm not knocking them. I know they're good and bad, just like any other company. You have to pick the right one. But I see these people that they spend their day talking to people at Starbucks and, hustling up all these people, and they're signing up like thousands of people to make any real money. And you said, no, that's not my business model. You just have to sign up 4 people.
Yes.
And when I was thinking about that, I'm like, look, I ain't up for meeting people at Starbucks every day, signing up thousands of people. But man, I know 4 people. If that's all I got to do in my career is sign up 4 good people, and then you'll show me a better strategy.
That's right.
I can do that. So I want to talk to you after it. And we definitely want to continue the dialogue and keep up with your success.
Absolutely.
Man, we wish you the best. Thanks for giving us a little bit of time.
Thank you for having me, Dan. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right.